Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking at this excellent book from the Legal Action Group. It's one I've reviewed before, and I've met the authors, Vicky, Ling and Simon Pugh. The book is called Legal Aid Handbook 2011-12. Some of you may well remember this cover because it's very similar to the old handbook we had some long time ago, before that hiatus when we didn't have anything. It's a nice little bit of blurb on the back. You've also got an excellent index in the 400 pages, just under. There are some useful appendices, but not too much, so it's not overburdened with a great deal of heavy detail. But what you have got is what you need, basically. And what I do like, of course, are the very useful numbering at the side, so you can find things in the individual chapters. Not too much use of footnotes, which I also think is helpful. And what we do find useful, of course, this is just the mental health side of it. We've got a very useful little sub-index at the front, which tells us basically what the contents are for each chapter. Now, this is a book I'm really very pleased with. I think this is a great tribute to LAG and the two editors, the huge amount of effort which was certainly commented on at the book launch. I know how much work goes into these books, and I really thank them, because this is something we need. And you're giving us a service at LAG and the editors of something we actually need, because when the old handbook went, there was a big sort of gap and we didn't know what we were doing. I know, because I used to use the old book and I really did need something like this when I was having some of the difficulties associated with legal aid, because we're in a new era now of what is going to happen with legal aid itself and all the aspects as the new coalition government looks at the matter afresh. We've given it the title New for 2011-12, the latest legal aid handbook, the only single volume guide to civil, family and criminal legal aid schemes. And this is what we say in simple terms. It's essential for everybody involved in legal aid cases, from caseworkers and paralegals to senior partners, and this is now the definitive current guide in our view, available for the all too often complex and bureaucratic processes and procedures of the legal aid scheme. The clerks know it, and I know it as a practitioner, and this sort of book that helps us, because it's very difficult otherwise. And we liked, of course, the cover design, which I've commented on, because it reminded us of the old, much treasured predecessor. This title is now published annually by LAG, thoroughly reliable and extremely thorough in its approach. And LAG have taken responsibility for this handbook because it contains all the relevant new material, included with the changes to family legal aid schemes with effect from May 2011. I'm actually recording this at the time that we're going through this change. It's assumed, quite rightly we believe, that Council especially will find it helpful to have this complete advocacy set of schemes set out in one place in a single volume, and that partners, directors, managers and administrators will benefit greatly from Part C, which covers managing legal aid work. And that obviously is very much the support side of the work that I do. Certainly practicing barristers and solicitors and their clerks, practice managers and so forth will find the two chapters on getting paid for civil, family and criminal work of abiding and keen interest, the process being and remaining so unnecessarily complicated in our view. Bearing all this in mind, LAG reminds us in the preface that legal aid is fundamental to the operation of a democratic society. It quotes Lord Bingham's utterance in 1998 that equality before the law is a pretence if some citizens can protect their rights and others cannot, that the rule of law, to be meaningful, must ensure that justice is available to all, irrespective of means. And as I write this, take that, all you super injunctioneers out there, because that's what this issue is about as much as anything else. How much do you pay for your legal help? The comments by Vicky and Simon added here are that legal aid lawyers do not have an easy life. Too right. How true, and therefore how pressing the need to acquire this latest legal aid handbook for the year that is now an annual. And really I say less, the less I say probably the better, because I'm delighted that we've now got this set up. The contents include, of course, all legal aid and advice litigation, and there is the usual stuff that you're looking for in the book without me going through it in detail. It's in line with the handbook's practical, well-organised, plain English approach that there are case studies, checklists and practical hints. That's the difference between what we have with this book and what we had in the past, which was a little bit more straight-laced, if I could put it that way. Obviously very important in its own way, but this is much more something we need for this decade, and I'm grateful that we get it. So to keep up, bang up to date with it, the handbook is supplemented by a blog available via Google, and you can see the information in the book itself. The research tools abound, of course, and they include tables of cases and so forth. So for legal aid practitioners, we think, as well as accountants, costs officers, CABs and so on, the handbook is the only single volume current guide that we have, and it's an essential acquisition for all legal professionals and their law libraries. And as I said at the beginning, I'm extremely grateful. You're giving us a great service here. Thank you so much. Bye bye.